Okay, I am Filip, and today I'll talk about Git. I hope you can all see screen here and what's here. At the beginning of this talk, I'll show you how Git works internally. It's a good thing to know because when you use Git, you are sure that you won't break something or that you won't lose something, and you will be more confident in what are you doing with Git. After that, I'll show you some interesting Git commands and arguments that people are afraid of sometimes. And at the end, I will show you how to resolve some tricky conflicts when you are working on an iOS project. How many of you have used Git or use Git? Okay, that's good because this talk won't be actually for beginners. I won't explain all basic commands and so on, but I think it will be helpful for all. Okay, let's start with the first topic, how Git works. As you probably all know, Git is a version control system. It works different from most other version control systems because it doesn't store differences. Git actually stores snapshots, and of course, it doesn't store, if file have not changed, Git doesn't store the file again. It will just create a link to the previous identical version of that file that it has already stored. So now I want to show you one interesting way how to create a Git repository without a Git command. And by the way, I will explain you some of internal stuff that and how Git works. Usually, you don't want to do that, but this is just for this demonstration. Normally, you will create a Git repository with Git in it, and let's call our project Mark. But I don't want to do that. I'll create a new directory called Mark, and inside of that directory, I need .git directory. Okay. Git actually stores all information about repository in this .git directory, and it's like a local database. You will see that later. So in this .git directory, we will have some objects and some references. So I will create, okay, I'm in .git. And inside of refs folder, we will have some heads. And we just need one more thing, and that's file called head that actually points to the current commit. Actually, that is a current state of our repository. So we will create a reference to refs heads master. And we'll write that into a file called head. And as you can see, my command line already figured out that this is a Git repository. Now I can go one level up, and I can ask for Git status. As you can see, I am on branch master, it's initial commit, and I have nothing to commit. So I didn't use git command, and I created Git repository without it. Okay, now I'll show you on the right side the current state of the .git directory. Okay, that I don't want. Just a second. Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm on head, that should work. Oh. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Now I'll create some file in my working directory. Let's write mark specification into a file called mark.txt. And we can ask for status again. As you can see, we have one untracked file. Now with the git add mark.txt, we can stage this file. Every file in a working repository can be in 3 states. It can be modified, it can be staged, or committed. As long as file is committed, you are safe, and you can't lose that file. You can always go back into some point in history, and you can recover that file, because as I said at the beginning, Git takes a snapshot of files that changes. Okay, now I'll add that file. Actually, I'll stage that file. And as you can see on the right side, I have a new object. It's in directory 84, but these first 2 characters are also a part of the hash of that file. So now I can try to print that file. Git objects. And as you can see, that's some binary file, and it's nothing meaningful for us. But Git has a command cat file, and now I can just pass parameter t, like type, and I want to ask for file 84a6. It's a blob. So now we can print the content of that file. And as you can see, that's our content of our mark.txt file. Okay, now I'll commit that file. And as you can see on the right side, we have 2 another objects. And head master here, and the other files that are not important right now. For the beginning, we can ask for these new files what types are. For example, CA A9. It's a commit. And F9 B6. It's a tree. Also, we can print the content of those files. In commit, we have some information about that commit, and also we have reference to tree. On the other hand, in third file, we can see some information about the tree, actually permissions for our file, name of that file, and we have a pointer to blob. Now I want to show you what's in the refs/heads/master, so we can print that. And as you can see, there's just a pointer to the commit that we did before. Okay. So we have three types of objects in Git. Those are commit, tree, and blob. And we have references that actually points to some commit in objects directory. Okay. I'll now create another branch. Called feature. And you can see on the right side that we have another head that's called feature. Okay. We don't need that anymore. Now I'll show you a log. That's some alias that I use for to auto-refresh Git log with the graph. So you'll see what's happening in Git history. Also, I have a script that will create some files and some commits. Okay. As you can see, we have now two branches. One is master, and we have three commits in this master branch. Added mark 2, added mark 3, and we have another branch feature, which includes initial commit and added feature 1 and added feature 2. What we want to do now, we want to merge content from master branch to the feature branch. Why? Maybe we need some features from master branch in our feature branch. And we can do that with Git Merge. Okay, we are right now in feature branch, and we can merge master. Okay, as you can see, now we have another commit on our feature branch, and we have all commits in our feature branch from master. But that's not exactly what we want. We want to first pull all commits from master, and then on top of that, put commits from feature branch. Because that's some kind of workflow that we usually use. And we can discard these changes introduced by Git Merge. Let's see Git log, and we'll just reset hard to this commit here. Okay, we have our previous state. And now I want to show you Git Rebase. People are usually afraid to use Git Rebase because it's dangerous command, And if you have some commits that are pushed already and you want to rebase them, you will have to force push after that, because with Git Rebase, you're changing history. With Merge, you're not changing history, and you will see that. So we will pull all commits from master. We will put them on top of first commit, and after that, we will put all commits from feature branch, and that will be in feature branch. So as you can see, now we have a nice linear graph, and we can very easily merge feature branch into master. As I mentioned, that command is very dangerous, so be careful when you use it, and announce that to your colleagues, because if they are working, for example, on this feature branch, they will probably lose some work if you push your changes with force flag, and you will have to do that. Okay, now I want to show you another example of rebasing, but interactive rebase. For example, last two commits are not really so different, so maybe we want to merge them because it makes sense. And how we can do that? We can do that with interactive rebase, and we will take one commit before added feature 1, because we want added mark 3 as a starting point of our interactive rebase. That will not be included in this rebase. So we'll have BCC6, and now Git will open text editor with our last two commits, and now we have some options that we can choose. For example, we want to pick our first commit, and we want to squash, actually merge second commit into first. So let's do that. Now we can edit our commit message. We'll remove that. And here we will add and feature 2.txt. Okay, save changes. And as you can see, now we have just one commit that's in feature branch that's different from master. Is everything clear for now? No. Any questions?
Not a question, but it might be nice to know. You've been using short hashes in your commands, and people might find it useful that you can use any unique prefix of a hash.
Yeah. Actually, you have to use at least 4 characters of hash, and in most cases that's enough. But I think that Git will warn you if you use some part of the hash that's not unique. Okay.
Philip, can you tell us a bit more? When will you use Rebase and when not to use it?
I would use Rebase when I know that only I work on feature branch, for example. Then it's safe to force push that feature branch, and nobody else will lose his work. And in second example is when feature branch is not yet pushed to the remote. Then it's safe to use Rebase or interactive Rebase.
I actually have a rule that Rebase is used exclusively if it's local.
Yeah.
So if you have pushed anything to the server, forget about Rebase.
Yeah, okay, that's, I think that's maybe a topic for another discussion, if you should or shouldn't use force push and so on. But in some cases, you maybe want to use it. For example, if you committed some credentials or something like that, and you want to change history, then you actually have to use interactive rebase to change some previous commit and force push that to remote. I think that's a good example when you want to do that.
That would be
Very good reason.
an exception to the rule.
Yeah, that's exception. Yeah, as I said, you shouldn't use that so much, but if you have changes only locally, then you can do whatever you want. Now, as you can see, we don't have any commit after this rebase. So for example, I want my 2 last commits that are now merged into one back. But who knows how to do that? Yeah, that's right. So very useful command, git reflog. Here, as you can see, we have whole history of our commands, not just commands, but for example, for Rebase, we have like 4 of them, and we can go back to some point with git reset. So for example, I can reset that. Yeah, double dash. And as you can see, I have my 2 commits back. Okay, I want to discard that. I will now git reset, head it 1, and now I have, again, merge commits. Okay, any more questions maybe? No, okay. Now I have some examples from iOS development that are sometimes tricky to merge, and I want to show you that. I prepared. Okay. Okay, I have this very simple project with basic structure and 1 storyboard. Sorry. And currently I'm in master branch. And as you can see, I have navigation controller, login view controller, and home view controller. Now I'll show you what I have in my feature branch. You can see on the right side my branches and what's inside of which branch. So I created initial commit that was new project. Then I created login screen and new feature branch where I implemented some password validation. On the other hand, on the top of master, I added home screen. But in this commit here, I opened, sorry. I opened storyboard file, and as you all know, Xcode will, when you open it, it will automatically change something, and I'll probably have some conflicts here. So I want to show you my storyboards on feature branch. So here I have it's not updated. I have navigation controller and login view controller. I'll switch back to master. And now I want to merge feature branch. Okay. Now I have conflicts in my storyboard file. And unfortunately, I can't even open that file in Xcode, of course. Okay, now we can resolve that conflicts in our favorite text editor, Vim. But I really don't understand what's going on here, and I don't want to delete something that I don't understand or break something. So we'll just leave that file for now. But I know that person who was working on feature branch didn't do anything, so I just want my old storyboard from master branch. And what I can do, I can just check out from head snapshot of that storyboard. But if I do that, I'll also delete something else. So I just want to apply that to storyboard file, and I can do that by this additional flag or argument or something like that. And I'll specify file. And if I open that storyboard again, it's actually my storyboard from master. So that's an easy way to resolve conflicts in storyboards if you know that you don't have some useful changes in your second branch. I recommend that when you're using storyboards or XIPs, communicate that with your colleagues and don't work in the same storyboard or in the same XIP, because you will probably break something and that will be very hard to merge by hand.
You can do it,
but you can do it, but yeah, you will lose your time and
It's usually more fun to go to the dentist or something.
yeah. And that's it. So now I can just add those changes and commit them. That's it. And as you can see, that project is working, hopefully. Okay. Now I'll show you a second example.
Can add just one thing.
Yeah.
If you have
Sure.
a storyboard that actually changes whenever you touch it, that's an indication that you have a problem with one of the constraints, because it's actually jumping from one value to another.
Yeah, actually, with the new Xcode, you have options to choose which kind of view you want, like for iPhone 6, iPhone 5, and so on. And when you choose one option, it will update all frames. So that's not an issue.
You can still, for example, you can set up two constraints that actually move the view for a pixel, half a point actually.
Yeah, okay.
And that usually happens when, I mean, it's a pain to find, but yeah.
So I will show you now second example, when I have where I have just a second. I have some some very simple project, and in my master branch, I installed Crashlytics via CocoaPods, and after that, I created feature branch, installed their Alamo file, and in master branch, I installed Unbox. And now I want to merge feature branch into master. Come on. And I have a lot of conflicts with my configuration files, with pods, pods manifest log, pod file log, and pod file. One very easy solution here is actually not, just don't use Git here. So remove all from your pods folder. Remove pod file log, and now merge, resolve conflicts in your pod file. So as you can see, I want both of these libraries in my project. Okay, and run pod install. It will recreate pod's project file, configuration files, and hopefully you will have working project. Of course, if you have other conflicts, you have to resolve them by hand. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and now I'll show you my last example. Okay. In this last example, I have very similar situation here. I have initial commit, then I added some login module, and after that I created feature branch where I added home module, and back on the master branch I added registration module. I'll show you that in Xcode. So here I have register and login, and if I switch to feature branch, I have home and login. That's a very common issue, and it's not so hard to resolve that, but you just have to be careful. So we'll switch back to master, and we will merge feature. Okay, I have conflict in my project file. As you probably know, I cannot open that project anymore. So I'll just resolve that conflicts into my favorite text editor. Sorry. Okay, let's make it a bit smaller. So I'll find conflicts. As you can see, I'll leave all the files from master and from feature. Here also. Op. I'll leave both groups, register and home. And now I have this part here that's actually problematic, because if you look at this section here, it ends with source tree equal group and this brace. But if you look at this conflict here, this first section here doesn't have that part. So we will just copy this part here, and we'll paste it at the end of this section here. And now we can remove this. Okay, I accidentally left that here and that here. We will save project file, and now everything is okay. We can again, we can open that project in Xcode again. So we just need to add changes and commit them. That's it. I hope that was interesting. Do you have some questions now?
I would only add that while you're resolving the PBX project errors, you might need a couple of tries. You know, you'll fuck something up on the first one, and then you'll try something, and it's not always so straightforward. If you have lots
First 49 times.
Yeah.
First 49 times. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it can be really painful,
But-
but
Yeah, but Git can help you. Like I said, use Git reflog. That's very, very, very helpful command. And when you use it a little bit more, you will actually understand that everything that's committed cannot be lost. You always have all your snapshots in .git directory, and you don't have to be afraid that you will break something. You always can go back into history and check out some state that actually works.
Unless you delete your .git directory.
Or, yeah, yeah. Okay, questions?
A comment actually. Just wanted to add some of the issues with the merge issues can be solved by using different strategies.
Yeah.
You use merge or pull, you can choose your strategy and not use the default. And some of the issues, for example, the new Git uses default strategy, which can think you need to merge an empty line and a line you added. And if you use a different, more careful strategy, it might happen at all.
Yeah, that's also a good comment. Thank you. Any more questions?